Welcome to Bad Guy Wrastling. So this is the February 3rd, 2023 Smackdown Wrestle Recap. So Universal title fallout from the Royal Rumble. First Smackdown since the Royal Rumble, first appearance of Roman Reigns within there. So at this point, we cannot confirm or deny the status of Jey Uso and the Bloodline. It's almost eerie. Is he going to be available? Because at the end of the night, we're going to have the setup for the tag titles for the next match. So anyways, let's take a look at this. This is a wrestling recap of the Smackdown. So in this one, we had a few matches. Let's see, we had 4 matches. We had in a couple segments here. One pre-recorded with the NASCAR stuff, and then the very end with the Roman addressing the crowd and everything. So let's get into it. One thing that's interesting that jumps out is with Jey walking out and not being there, it's almost like we're going back to a few years ago when Roman and Jey were feuding to, have Jey acknowledge him. So Jimmy had already joined Roman, but Jey was not coming along, and then eventually culminated into a couple matches, but specifically the one I think back to is the Hell in a Cell, where Jey has to, I believe if I remember correctly, has to acknowledge Roman if he loses, and you kind of unite the bloodline within there. So that happens, and then the rest is history. So kind of going back to those vibes of Jey being the dissenter in the group, and hopefully that plays into some interesting storylines. So for the first match, we had Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus Imperium, not Gunther, but the other two, for the tag title contenders, and it's the finals of this tournament. So whoever wins this match then gets a title shot with the Usos. And so, yeah, I mean, the match was good. I mean, no one expects Imperium to win, but I think they were still able to have a good showing, even though most likely never going to win. So, and it is. Braun Strowman and Ricochet win the match. And but there was a couple good. There was the high spot by Imperium, jumps off the rope, does the flip off the top rope into the outside of the ring, while Braun is holding one of them up. And it's right before the break there. So that was good. I mean, I would say they impressed me. Imperium impressed me. I don't know the most about them, but they did really impress me on this one, for whoever they are. So then Gunther is in it, but he gets sent out, and so he shows, like, I don't know if it's cowardice is the right word, but he has this like hesitation he likes to show. It's a good character trait in a sense for a heel, when, like, in the Rumble, he gets double teamed by Drew and Sheamus, and there's the hesitation, like don't come at me, come on guys, we can do this. And it's interesting because Gunther's character is really like, what is the right word here? He is very intense in the sense that he is big and that he can be strong, but like he tends to back down and gain an advantage, and so it can be smart, but it's definitely it's big heel energy in the sense of that, and so he's a bad guy, and yeah, so once they got him out of there, of course, the match changes and everything. Strowman has Ricochet on his shoulders, and then he does the flip and gets the pin, and Braun Strowman wins, or Ricochet wins the match for the two of them, and they are going to face the Usos. This tag team is definitely a lift for Ricochet. I mean, he's not, like, it's going to sound like I'm hating on him. I'm not the biggest fan of Ricochet, but it's definitely a lift for him. And it's neutral, or maybe even slightly kind of lowers Braun a little bit. Because what do you do with Braun right now? I don't know. He's a hard guy because, like, he either has to be in some feud where he's taking care of business, because he can't be in the title picture all the time, but he's this huge guy, and it doesn't work in the sense. So he needs to either be in the title hunt or they have to do stuff like this to keep him occupied. And so sometimes it's weird, and I think this is a little weird, teaming Ricochet, but hey, it's okay so far. Ricochet, I mean, I won't. His talent in the ring is just unquestionable. He really is good, but it's the promos, the stuff like that. He just doesn't feel authentic to me. It feels like he's playing a part. And it's kind of like, you know, with Cesaro, he never. So he's Claudio now in AEW, but Cesaro, it's just something missing to him, and it's been beaten like a dead horse. But the same I kind of feel with Ricochet is like, I don't know, he's like that annoying guy that just like tries to state the obvious and things, and it's not funny, but it's just he thinks he's hysterical and stuff. It just doesn't feel right, and yeah. So, but again, ability, I don't know, maybe this will help, but I don't see this lasting for a long time. So let's get in the first segment. You have the NASCAR segment here, and I'll just go quickly through this. I am a NASCAR fan, but kind of a casual at this point. And so you had a New Day with Rey Mysterio teaming up with Michael Waltrip, and then you had Judgment Day with Ross Chastain. Michael Waltrip made this segment, and Michael Waltrip was the older guy, and there. It just like he was calling Ross Chastain an ass, and then the way he announces all the teams, and then says, "Oh, by the way, the Judgment Day," and stuff like that. And then so this segment was fun. It really was. It's what if WWE wants to have a sponsored event, because this is what this is. This was just plugging the Clash at the Coliseum race that's going to be happening. If you want to do that, don't do some stupid ass pitch black match. Just do something fun like this. I mean, it's a little vignette. You can get some classic lines out of this, like "Dom, your driving is as fake as your teardrop tattoo," and stuff like that, which was hysterical. So it was good. I mean, don't take it too serious. I'm not. It was kind of stupid, but it was entertaining. So that's enough. That's all we need to talk about. So let's go into the second match of the night. This is Sonya Deville versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. And what is the point? What is the point? Did anyone actually think that Charlotte might lose this match, or any of these matches with Sonya at any point in time? Did anyone even think that Sonya was ever going to have any kind of chance whatsoever? And the thing is, no one cares about this match. There's no story, and it's more like an annoying little sibling who's trying to, like, I don't know, keep up with the older kids, or the older sibling and stuff, and like that's what it feels like. It just no chance, just annoyance, just feeling like going through the motions on this just to get to WrestleMania until we get to Rhea Ripley. But I will say, at least for Sonya, I mean, it's not that I don't like her. I mean, I thought she was coming off with the heat a little bit when she came in doing the Charlotte Flair impression, or the Ric Flair impression, but kind of sputtered out and then kind of looked foolish from it because Charlotte ate it up. But at least Sonya is really embracing that DeVille look, the Cruella DeVille black and white all over. You know, really reminds me of the Dalmatian theme color. So good on her for that, because she got that going. And I don't think she's title contender, but I guess she's just a placeholder for now. So that's all I have to say about that. So third match, we'll go into the Brawling Brutes, so Rich Holland and Butch versus the Viking Raiders. Good match. Really, like, this is what kind of pulled me into the show. Okay, I'm not going to look at my phone at all now, and I'm going to really focus in on this because this is really good. So love the Raiders' interest, especially Valhalla. I mean, I just can't get over how good it is. I mean, it really is, with the smoke, the red light, the kind of the eeriness and everything like that. So this match, what is it? It's kind of a fallout of the Raiders' attack on Sheamus and McIntyre, which we're expecting to have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view match, which after the match, it definitely looks like it's going that way. I would say the level of physicality is impressive in this match. Just the brawling outside the ring and just the level of intensity and everything like that. It was really good. I have to give that match an A. And so let's see here. We got the Viking Raiders win the match. And then, this is good. It's kind of a beatdown, and then they win the match. And as they're coming out, look and behold, it's Sheamus and McIntyre jump them. And now we're definitely solidifying the fact that this feud is just beginning. And most likely going to have a match here soon between Sheamus and McIntyre versus Viking Raiders. So some couple questions after this match. What happens? So where do they go with the Viking Raiders? Well, what I want to know more is what do they go with? Because this feud will probably be over very soon. Because I don't see it going to WrestleMania, but perhaps it could. But so where do they go with Valhalla? I want more backstory. I want that external off-site video package that, like, imagine this, like, they're at, like, some, Viking lodge, and Valhalla's there, and you have smoke and fire and things like that, and she's doing some sort of ritual to prepare the Viking Raiders here. And I don't know if she's forecasting the future or things like that, but she is instilling some sort of, like, kind of like Viking tradition within there to instill some sort of power or wisdom or something into them. I think this would be great. It would set up her storyline, who she is, things like that, and it would be very interesting. I love the video storytelling, so I hope they do something like that. Even with the Brawling Brutes, it'd be great. The Rich and Butch. I think it'd be interesting to do something like they do with, like, the APA, always having their little, like, a card table area and their door. But in this case, we could have, like a backstage pub setup that they always have with the bar stools and things like that. So they're always kind of in, like, a bar scene, like, brawl type of thing. It would be an interesting gimmick in the backstage area, and I think it would go over well. All right, let's move on to the fourth match. This was the Fatal 4-Way for the second to last spot in the Women's Elimination Chamber match. And so this was Shotzi, Natalya, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega. And so I just say right off the bat that I hate that stupid tank that Shotzi comes out with. Looks like an oversized Power Wheels that they put, like, a tank exterior thing on it. It's stupid. I need somebody to come out and just, like, rip the turret off of it. I mean, if you like it, you're wrong. This is my show. I can say whatever I want, but it looks stupid. It like screams NXT and, like, gimmicky and things like that. And that's not to say I love the rest of her look. I like what she does, and I like her music. It's awesome. Just the tank. I don't like the tank. And so, anyway, so they have this match, and Natalya wins. And so she's going to join the Elimination Chamber match, and it was an okay match. I mean, but it feels like they're putting Old Reliable in that in there to win with Natalya. So you can believe that Natalya has a chance, and that she could even get the upset and win, because she's former champion. She's she's a legend in her own right at this point. So she's kind of Old Reliable. Throw her in. And you could believe she win, unlike Vega or Shotzi, you can believe Shayna Baszler would win. She's kind of not as dominant as she was, but it makes sense to have Natalya in there. And so let's move on to the last segment here. Roman addresses the audience with Paul Heyman. He tells Jimmy and he tells Solo to go to the truck. There's steak and there's sushi there. Sounds pretty sweet. After, really snapping at them earlier in the night about where Jay was. They send them back. And so Roman comes out, and this is a guy that has transformed for years now. He just knows how to make an entrance, and the music, the lights, his demeanor just screams like how good he is, and he knows it. Not to steal MJF's line here, but it really is like he has blossomed into, this is the peak Roman Reigns. This is the icon. This is when we look back. This is probably the defining era of Roman Reigns, and it's the greatest development, and it's the fact that he doesn't need a lot of words to get his points across. Again, it's his facial expressions. When he's there, he's like, he does a lot of like stuff that like he can further develop his reactions, like, because there's sometimes they're a little over the top with his facial expressions, but you can know exactly what he's thinking and play to the crowd and other people just with these facial expressions. Because you try to put him in a Seth Rollins thing where he's talking all the time. Even Seth probably doesn't need to talk as much as he talks. But Roman understands this. And like, so he goes from a guy that basically never talked when he was in the Shield to talking a little more and trying to figure out what he wanted to say, and saying he's just a guy and all this stuff, to now every comment he makes is pointed, and it's worth like 10 lines to every one he does now. And so he just understands how to play the crowd, to manipulate it. He talks to the crowd at the same time, but it feels authentic because you think this guy is actually like this. And he knows how to give the crowd the ability to interact with him, whether it's with single word chants or cheers or boos or things like that. And so it's not only just what he can do on the mic, but it's his masterfulness of being able to play with the crowd. And so it's really the story, and within storytelling, his ability to convey a message and get us to invoke certain emotions. If you hate him, he's making you hate him. And that's the thing you got to understand, is that he is manipulating the situation to get an emotional response out of you. And that is what the game of the game is here. And he's doing it amazingly right now. So anyways, he's addressing, he said he wants to address the Royal Rumble winner, because he actually, and this is Cody Rhodes, but he actually deserves it. But he talks about Sami, how his side of the story, how Sami just wanted stuff from him, and then all of a sudden Sami comes out, but he attacks them with the hoodie on and everything, and it was a delight to see. It wasn't just a speech that he gave. He actually came out there and showed some physicality of his own, and really showed how diverse a character he is. He can do the mic, he can do the wrestling, he can just come out there and kick some ass, and it is what we wanted. It was really it was not going to be a letdown within there, and the crowd just exploded with that spear that Sami delivers to Roman when he avoids the chair and everything like that. So then, I mean, it's going Sami way, but then all of a sudden, okay, Jay and Jimmy and Solo come back, and tides turns, beat down, and then Roman's talking to him while he's in the corner, Sami that is, and he can feel the hate in Roman as he's yelling at Sami. And so the authenticity comes back. You can really feel that this is you don't feel it's an act, you don't feel it's a character, you feel that he absolutely hates him and despises him. And so it gets that emotional reaction where I cannot wait for Elimination Chamber for specifically. This is the best storyline in wrestling, in AEW, in WWE. I'm not talking about the whole entire product quality, but like, this is the best storyline right now, and it's the best storyline that's happened in quite a long time. I mean, I really like the Fiend stuff, but this right here is top level. And so I really hope that this goes well. I really hope that this leads to one of the most memorable WrestleManias. I mean, I think the actual match, Sami will lose at Elimination Chamber for whatever reason, interference, or just Roman being that damn good. But I think the feud carries into with Cody and everything like that, and it continues. In what better way to kind of break up the bloodline and than to do it with somebody who's so over like Sami right now, who had such a role with them. So anyway, so overall this show, it had some really good points in here, some okay points, but really what we're all really watching for is the bloodline, Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn right now. So anyways, this was the February 3rd, 2023 Smackdown, and this is a Bad Guy Wrastling. And we're going to then see you again for AEW Rampage, and then next week we start it over again with Raw. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I want you to subscribe and like for more, and I'll talk to you later.